Good afternoon. I think it's time to go live with the big reveal about my new book coming in July. So yeah, I thought maybe it was time that I actually explained what this new book is. Back in February, I was in Thailand for a month, and during that time, I catalogued the fact that I was kind of writing a book in 9 days, which people were quite amused by. I mean, I was writing it on an island, Koh Lanta, which is a very nice place to write a book, I have to say, if you're going to write a book. And it was a little bit crazy, but I didn't really explain what the book was or reveal what the title was or what the project is. So today, finally, it's time to reveal that, because the book is coming out next month. And here's the story. So my first book is called Screw Work, Let's Play, How to Do What You Love and Get Paid for It. And it came out 10 years ago, pretty much, pretty close to the day. It actually came out May, June in 2010. That time has gone by very quickly for me and for a lot of other people who I know who've read the book. And the book did really well. It's a book it's kind of a handbook for career success and starting a business when you're not a classic entrepreneurial left brain organized type like me. So I'm a typical kind of creative, distracted person, prone to shiny object syndrome, and I wanted to write a book for people like me, and it really struck a nerve, and it did really well. It was translated into 10 languages around the world. Chinese, I've forgotten it was in Chinese, but it's been translated into Chinese, and Thai, Russian, Marathi, Dutch, German, Czech, Korean, and it's been quite a wild journey since then. Over those 10 years, I've been on TV, it's been in the press. The Sunday Times the week it came out made it one of the buzz books of the summer, along with a handful of other books, and I was featured in the Saturday Times. Like I say, it kind of kicked off a lot of stuff from that. And at the end of last year, I thought, well, 2020 is coming up. I thought 2020 is bound to be a good year. It's bound to be a good year for everybody. What I'll do is, that isn't what provoked it, but I thought it's 10 years since Screw Work, Let's Play came out. It's about time. I think there's room for a 10-year update to the book, because while the stuff I was talking about back then was a bit fringe and have this like cult following, which is really passionate, I'm not sure most of the world was ready for the concept of, for instance, running your career without a career plan, working for yourself, being able to work from anywhere. And that's what the book's about, and about how you can create a business that's as much about, as somebody in the new book says, as much about making a life as it is about making a living. So you want to get paid really well, but you want to do something that's deeply meaningful. Otherwise, why not just stay in your job? So that's what the book is about. And I thought that is a message for our time, and I think it's ready for the mainstream. So why don't I do a complete update of the book, update all the advice, particularly around marketing and stuff, which goes out of date quite quickly, and release it again as a 10-year anniversary thing. Now, what happened next was even more bizarre. Is it really windy here? Tell me if that's distracting. I don't know how good these AirPods are filtering out the wind. Let me know and type in the comments. And so it then got really weird, because when I sent them a proposal to this effect, the advice of my friend Jacqueline, friend and literary agent Jacqueline Burns, I sent Pearson proposals like, this is why it'd be a good idea to do a new version of the book. And they said, funny you should say that, because we've been speaking to a major retailer and we talked to them about your book and they're interested. They've been talking to them already. I'm not going to say which one it is just yet, because it's not completely signed off. But they are basically interested in having your book, but they'd like you to call it something else. So, the new book, the updated version, completely updated and revised, is called Fuck Work, Let's Play. So we are, it's funny because when I first wrote the book, one of my creative mentors, Jerry Hyde, when I was talking to him, and I was trying to come up with what the book should be called, and he said, well, this is, really, this is a radical book. It's like a completely different way of thinking about work. on entrepreneurship. And he said it should be fuck work, shouldn't it? And I was too nervous at the time. There was only really one book out there that was called Fuck, and that was by the lovely John Parkin, Fuck It, The Ultimate Spiritual Way. In the intervening years, every man, woman and their dog have put an F word in the title of their book. So it seems like appropriate timing, and it wasn't my request. But basically what we're hoping for is that when we release this book, we are it's going to be Book of the Month of one of the biggest UK book retailers. So that's the plan that we've been working on. Now that's been slightly scuppered by this little thing called COVID-19, and bookshops are not doing a lot of sales at the moment. So I had a discussion with the marketing guy at Pearson this week, and he is treating it like this book is going to sell a lot. Like we thought it did well last time, but like way bigger. And so so basically he held off on this promotion, this kind of deal to have it, arrangement to get it to be Book of the Month. And we're holding it back until people are actually going into bookshops in big numbers. And so that's going to happen. What we're going to do is going to release it as Kindle next month in July. And then when everything's a bit more back to normal, we're going to release it on paperback. And at that point, hopefully we will be able to do this. We'll get this agreement to make it Book of the Month, which is pretty damn exciting. So that is the big news. It's a fully revised and updated version of Screw a Let's Play called Fuck Work Let's Play. It's got a completely new cover. I'll show that later. And one of the things that was really exciting is when I was in Thailand, I decided to get in touch with everybody I interviewed for the first book, and find out what they were doing and update the stories, and also add some new stories, some of the clients I've been working with on my courses, and put those throughout the book. And when I got in touch with these people who were doing really wacky, creative, fun, quirky businesses in a very small scale at the beginning, they're all doing amazingly well. So they all embodied the values I was writing about in the book. And I thought, bloody hell, this stuff really does work. I mean, I know it does from my own life and from my clients, but to see this is really something. So, for instance, Petra Barron had this little thing. He had this chocolate van. So she drove around in a mobile chocolate van to festivals and stuff, selling gourmet drinking chocolate. And we featured her as an example of how she found out what she wanted to do with her life, because she's got a really interesting story around that. And when I got in contact with her, it turned out she'd started Eat Street after this chocolate van and pushed forward the entire movement of street food in London. So if you remember about 5 years ago, street food exploded onto the scene, and it's kind of been here ever since. She was basically behind that, as far as I can tell. And then started another company called Curb Food. And then got in a new CEO to scale it up even further, moved to New Orleans, and continues her search for what she wants to do next. So she's just one of the examples. The stories in the new book are so fun, and even if you read Screw a Let's Play, I'd really recommend, it's worth reading the new book, Fuck Work Let's Play, just for that. But aside from that, I've also gone through and changed and updated all the marketing advice. I've added all this stuff called, all these things called power-ups to make it quicker, to get your business off the ground, tips that are going to shortcut things and keep you out of the kind of holes that sometimes people get into when they try to start a business. And I've updated the intro, and basically almost, I've been through every single part of it and touched it up, made it clearer, made it stronger, and put a renewed focus on how you make money from a business that you love doing. But made it really, really practical in making a financial return, because it's important now more than ever. And then just as I finished the book, and I was finishing up, and I was flying back from Bangkok to, so I went from Koh Lanta to Bangkok, and then I was flying back to the UK. That's when COVID really became quite a big thing. About February 24th, I got back into London. It was obvious in Asia, people were very concerned about it. Everyone was wearing masks. got back to London, no one's wearing masks. No one's still wearing masks. And while the whole of Asia got ready for COVID, the whole of the West just seemed to sit on their arse and twiddle their thumbs. And then we had lockdown about a month later, and you know, we're paying the price of that, unfortunately. So what's interesting though is, like, I thought, well, actually this book, if anything, is more relevant than ever, because it's all about playing out your ideas. It's about rolling with the punches. It's about being creative. It's about not having a fixed business plan. Like Google years ago said, we don't have a 5-year plan, we don't have a 2-year plan, we don't have a 1-year plan. What they're doing is they're continually iterating, and they're continually pursuing what their mission of what they want to do. You know, for Google, that's to index all the world's information, and then just doing whatever's needed every year in order to make that happen. And so the values of the book are more relevant than ever. And if we go into a recession, as some people are predicting over the next few months, the first version of the book actually came out just as we were at the recession after the financial crash was just biting. So that's the big news. The book is coming out on July 27th in the UK on Kindle only. Later I'm going to be doing an audiobook, and the paperback will come out, as I say, once the bookshops are ready to sell in bulk and have lots of people walking in there. We'll be doing the paperback. We'll have a little party here for people who've helped me write the book and some journalists. I'm going to hold it basically here by the canal because I'm lucky enough to live in a place with some private space down by the canal, and I'll keep you posted about this and what's happening with the book, and you can follow the journey. If anyone wants to be involved in helping me, you know, with the book and spread the word, if you've read Screw It, Let's Play and you like it, I know you'll love this one. And if you want to help other people find out about it, I've got a group which is, I think it's called John's Book Launch Team on Facebook. If you don't know, ask me, and you're welcome to go in there, and I'll be sharing a little bit in there about how I'm promoting the book. So anyone who's interested in books and marketing, you'll find it interesting for that reason. But if you're willing to go write a review or spread the word on the day it comes out, I'll be really grateful. Anyone who wants to join us in the group and help out with that.